language learning, and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is sword, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyperpolyglotting avec Élise. Moi c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Come on. Bien. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Barbaz, okay, Barbaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno.
Sotto quattro grossi sassi, quattro grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré, des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré, des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, sì, ecco, la gente, è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo, io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io. I buy a computer or what? Here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, what sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that proves it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, ça chante chasser. Ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyper Polyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos. Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cocine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. Buenese. Proteine. Utros. Totopolo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously. Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Monsieur. Livre. Liwe, livre.
Mustan kissan paksut posket.
Matěje.
Yeah.
Já.
Nice.
Jsi.
So,
Vysoký. Matěje. Proč? Víte. Počkej. A. Jsi.
Track 6.
Aspri petraxes aspri apton ilioxex asproteri. Aspri petraxes aspri apton ilioxex asproteri.
Ten coginio panas.
Oh boy.
Ferad verda ferda vedri.
Hakab. Hefed.
okay.
Hefed.
Okay.
Hefed. Hefed. Haq. Haq. Haq.
Саша по шоссе.
А Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку. А Саша по шоссе несла сушку на счастье и сосала сушку.
Mwalimu.
Ah, this is Arabic. And it's from Mu'allim.
Juma ni mwalimu mke.
Ирак чимав чипах чемп чавю ченчи чини. Чирак чимав чипа да чирак чимав чипцах чемп чавю ченчи чини. Бакакит алшит. Хикрин. Бакакит алши хикрин.
Oh, thanks to cat signs. Meow and the pictures of the fish. That's they were wow.
Sööpä. Kupu. Yrittävät. Puraista. Omena.
Are in the city center. And it's got some interesting aspects to it.
여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까? 여자는 어느 나라에 있습니까?
Countries for living things.
Ani no namae wa
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for... Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I'm Elise, translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages, and this is the stream where we're gonna play some GeoGuessr, and we're gonna look at some of the best and maybe not so best of language learning YouTube. And so, how's everybody doing, chat? As far as I can tell, you should be able to hear me, but I figure I might as well ask because that hasn't always been the case in recent weeks. Okay, well, we're finding that out. Let's do some daily challenge. Where is the daily challenge? The daily challenge has disappeared on me. Hello, Badger. How you doing? Wait. I don't see a daily challenge. Strange. Oh, there we go. There's the daily challenge. Okay, let's just make sure that doesn't completely screw up my window. Yeah, and yes, of course it does. So let's readjust that. And let's go. Okay, asbestos removal in progress, and it's in English, and that sign looks very North American. Except authorized with an S. Okay, it's someplace on a body of water. Authorized with an S indicates to me, yeah, it says give way. Well, still here is not a bad result. And I should say, I've got a little translation project I am fundraising for at the moment. A friend of mine had the idea. It's a relatively small thing compared to some of the other projects, but here's the GoFundMe. I'm translating. There was a pretty good video of legal advice for what to do if La Migra opens your door, and I had been asked to do a Spanish translation of it, and so trying to raise money to cover the costs of that. So just drop that in there, share it around. So far, it's been a bit slow. The algorithm really does not like people sharing the stuff, as far as I can tell. Let me see, what's the street name? Oh, you gonna hide the street name from me? Rowley. Okay, that's white. So, I'm thinking we're in Australia. I mean, so far everything's coming up Australia. I don't know, maybe St. Kilda? Albany Exchange... Albany... Okay, yeah, definitely Australia, because it's Telstra. It's their shitty phone company. Yeah. I have a feeling this might be in Vic. Albany isn't ringing any great bells. No, it was in WA apparently. 942 points. Not an excellent start. Taiwan. We learned last week that there's a whole bunch of Taiwan that's actually over here. I had no idea about this. Wrong end of Taiwan, but right island. Okay, this looks like Britain. And it looks like a railway bridge, so maybe we might get an exact... is that the station over there? Yeah, I mean, that looks like the station building. Wrong side of the right island, it turned out. Yeah. Everything's coming up Britain here. Co.uk. Five Arches. Craigsview Caravan Center. Okay, we're on a time control, so let's say we're somewhere around here. Oh, well, I was right about it being Scotland. Not bad. Craig skews Scottish. This skews Canusa. We got baseball fields, it looks like. Locust Street. Small caps font. Haven't seen that very often on street names. Four-way stop. Yeah, all coming up very, very Canusa. Pissy environmental. Locust and Poplar. Okay, we're in a tree-themed street name zone. That doesn't help us much. That is a very common street name theme. Speed limit would help. Federal Credit Union. Okay, that sounds North American. But fuck knows where. Ah, Idaho, apparently. Yeah, this is not my best daily challenge, certainly. Okay. Feels like maybe Bulgaria. Photovoltaichny systemy. Yeah, Bulgaria is my guess so far. Ahoy! Oviciamte, Daniela. Ти си ми всичко, да. Всичко, моля. Yeah, то е български. Okay. Feels fairly urban. Okay, Plovdiv, why not? It was, in fact, Laskovo. Khaskovo. Yeah, not a great round of daily challenge, but we're going to move on to world. Oh, it absolutely does. That is my ace in the hole when playing GeoGuessr for the most part. That and signposting. Okay. We have roads in somewhat disrepair. Lots of hedges. We have European number plate format. Something about this feels kind of British. I'm in the process of doing American Translators Association certifications. Oh, finally, the sun is no longer straight at the camera. Willemsvej. Okay, not Britain. Definitely not Britain. We are in Denmark. Someplace fairly urban in Denmark. Where they speak like they're from Bergen, but with different vowels. Helsesentret. Of course, the thing about Denmark is it's an archipelago, so that is challenging, but hey, oh, wait a second. This feels like we might be on the way to a railway station. Koreansk barbecue. Okay, we got a bendy bus, but it doesn't have anything on it that says whose bendy bus it is so far. Yeah. Okay, still definitely Denmark. We've got that confirmed in more than one way now. Getting more Denmark lately. We hadn't been there. I went like years with no Denmark, and now Denmark's all over the place. One of the quick ways to distinguish Denmark from Norway is that zone is spelled with a Z. Okay, so urban place in Denmark. Statistically, I'm gonna say Copenhagen. Statistically, I was right. 49.84. Not breaking any personal records on this round, but not a bad start, and certainly better than that daily challenge. Okay. Feels very Canusa. Private area. Residence, I guess. Yeah, we've got mailboxes. We've got English. Looks like we're northern because very deciduous, very wintry. Sign says stop, not arrêt. So we're not in Quebec. We're not in Acadia. Okay, we've got a somewhat more central looking street here. So we're gonna get on that. Oh wait, that said speed limit, didn't it? Let me see. Yeah, okay, we're in the US. The speed limit signs do simplify things a bit. The trouble is, they allow you to distinguish between two huge countries. O'Reilly Auto Parts, where their website, if you put in the right part number, it will show you a flux capacitor. Charlotte Spring Apartments. Could this be North Carolina? Cats. Okay. Winding Springs. I guess Cats something transit, C something transit system, or transport system. That sounds like Charlotte is definitely, possibly what this is. 704 area code doesn't really help me. North 115. Is that what? Okay. Now I'm beginning to wonder, because I feel like that is not what North Carolina route signs state route signs look like, but it's been a while since I've seen one. Hello, Riveroon. Okay, but let's just for drill get to Charlotte, North Carolina and see if there's a Route 115 around it. Bojangles Coliseum. Okay, yeah. I'm thinking maybe this is not Charlotte, North Carolina. I haven't ruled it out altogether, though. El Rincon... well, I just said that, and here we go. El Rinconcito de Puebla, Charlotte, North Carolina. Right after I was ruling it off. Okay, so... Druid Hills, Statesville, Firestone, Oakdale, Westchester, Toddville, Westerly Hills. Ah, not bad. Bit tired. I was having to put tongue oil on some planters and stuff in extreme heat. Wild. I just got done saying it. I guess it's probably not Charlotte, North Carolina, and then it is The Billy Graham Library. Fuck that. All the books he should have read when he was alive. $49.58. Not bad. Okay, definitely not North Carolina here. This feels South American vaguely to me. But that could just be because it looks dry and in not a great state of repair. Rosslands. Yeah, not sure what we're looking at here. Spent so long putting the tongue oil crap on things that I ended up showering later than intended, so I've got the fan on to dry my hair on stream. So my hair will be going through phases. And if you're hearing sort of a whining noise, that's the fan. Oh wow, that's very Farrah Fawcett. One kilometer. So we're in a metric kind of place, which I already had sort of assumed. I mean, this could be the Karua, but it could also just be one of many dry places in Australia. Probably not in Zaid. It doesn't get that dry there. Oh, it's TUNG. And it seals the wood and stuff. It just helps protect it, and it's a pain in the ass to put on. And was that a sign that I just sort of went through? Yeah, that doesn't really help me a whole lot. South Africa, Australia, I don't know, Botswana. The road's in too good shape, I think, to be rural Botswana. And it's not deserty enough to be Namibia. Namibia is just straight desert, except for like a few very small bits. I can't quite make that out. Hierdie word op dis Afrikaans. Maak asseblief hek toe. Ja, dis Afrikaans. Okay, well, that narrowed it down. Ons is in South Africa. En ek dink ons is iewers in die Karoo. Dalk Oudtshoorn. Is dit? Ek weet nie. Ons gaan weer. We're gonna keep on going. But I think, well, I have a general idea of where in South Africa we are. We are in South Africa. That's Afrikaans. And out of the Afrikaans, I mean, you see some Afrikaans in Namibia, but Namibia doesn't look like this. This is a semi-desert, and it's Afrikaans, so I'm gonna say it's probably around the Great or the Little Karoo. The water tells me maybe the Great Karoo. Maar ons gaan kijken. Ah, okay, here we go. This'll help. It's always helpful when you're trying to figure out where you are to have a sign that tells you where you are. That is my tip to you. Okay, south. Noorwalspont te Aleval Noord, Burgersdorp. Okay, Burgersdorp. Ja, ik denk dus. Ja, ik denk ik weet waar het is. Oké, ons gaan Zuid-Afrika toe. Nee, Groenland. Nee. Vredendal, Uitschoren. Victoria West. Bovert West. Middelburg. Burgersdorp. Ja. Oké. So, daar is Burgersdorp. Noorwalspont. Okay, it's not really in the... I was not quite right, because this is definitely not the Karoo so much. I mean, Burgersdorp are practically in the Lesotho. Nauwpoort, Maletswai, Noorwalspont, Aliwal, Eer 391. Wherever this is, though, there is some water. Nelspoort, Bridgestone, Colspeer, Winterstad, Tromsburg, Springfontein, one of many fontaines. Okay. Stainsburg. Ah, 391. Davidsfontein. Okay, wacht even. Okay, we're going south. It's a north-south road, so that wouldn't be wrong. $3.97, Bonnievale, Rietfontein, Bloemhof. Yeah, okay. Pretty good idea where we are. Okay, was. $49.98. Trivia, share your knowledge of this location. I know it's near Burgersdorp. Het is alles. Het is alles wat ik weet. Oké, ons is niet meer in Zuid-Afrika, niet? This looks very Canusa. US flag. So, I mean, I think we have a pretty good idea where we are. At least country-wise. Okay, and we're already in a somewhat more urban sort of area. That's good. That simplifies life. $877, bloody useless. Toll-free number, doesn't tell me anything. Boulder Crossroads. Well, that tells me one place this could possibly be is Boulder, Colorado, but I mean, things can be named anything, so I wouldn't necessarily bet money on it just yet. Okay. Further confirmation we are indeed in the US. Though I think we're beyond that. Now it is a question of whether this could be Boulder, Colorado. $48.94. Not too bad. Denver. Okay, I don't think we're in Colorado anymore. Somebody left their shopping on this ancient building. Feels Cambodian. Okay, this is giving me like zero control. Which is very unpredictable. But I do think, I don't know, Cambodia, possibly Thailand. Need to see some writing. Okay, that looks like the Cambodian flag. Yeah, okay, we're in Cambodia. That is Cambodia. $41.98. Not too bad. Okay. Britain, Estonia, France. Kolahandel Fanaker. Okay. Neither Britain nor France, and definitely, probably not Estonia. Oh. Briqueterie L'amour. The briqueterie of love. Okay, I'm beginning to get a Belgian feeling, because that was very French, but that panel van that we passed was definitely not in French. So some kind of Belgian place would be my guess. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely Belgium. Oh no, it was like, oh wow. Like just on the French border. Okay, we have been... Yeah, this is feeling Canusa. Mailboxes. A nice wooded area. We're in the US. Could be a lot of places in the US. Well, I mean, definitely not Hawaii. Probably not LA either. Some sort of motorway. Oh, what are you doing, GeoGuessr? I was actually trying to get on top of that thing. Now you're just making me dizzy, GeoGuessr. Damn it. Okay. So much for that. That would have simplified things greatly. But let's just have a look at this bridge real quick. Sometimes they'll say what the route is. Route 295. That's not very enlightening. Oh. Tired. Mega disposal. That does not help. We just know that they have bin vans. And low resolution. Meadowview and Stillwater, and some emblem that I do not recognize. Let's see if we can get to someplace that's a little bit more someplace than this. Raymond C. Laperche. Or Laperche, or Laperche, who knows? Who knows how that's pronounced? Farmers Market Sundays. Talkin' Tummy. Lobster cart. Okay. Now I'm starting to think Maine, maybe? Smithfield Town Council. Truly local ice cream. Neat. Slice and scoop. With coffee en suite. Oh, hang on. What did we had a junction for something there. Interstate. Junction for 295. Okay. Well, oh, there's 295. So... there's a town called Purgatory. Neat. Wyndham, Saco, Maine. There's a major... General Dynamics has an arms factory there. Hopeville. Sodom. Wow, so there's the town of Purgatory, and right nearby you got the town of Sodom. I would be so fucking disappointed if that isn't like a queer destination. You got the town, that's just perfect. Wonder what they call people from Sodom, Maine. It can't possibly be the obvious thing. It can't be. Old Port, West End, Stanwood. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that it must be someplace around Portland, Maine. Well, I don't see this Smithville anywhere. Biddeford, there's one of those in Devon. Oh, hell. There's a 290 junction in Providence, 295 in Providence too? That's annoying. I think we're probably in Taiwan again. Oh, wait a second. No, no, no. This is Cantonese. We're in the general Hong Kong area. $49.41. That bilingual giveaway sign was also a tip-off. Okay, we're in the US. It says speed limit. .402 area code, which doesn't help me much. Now I'm starting to get cold. I'm going to have to turn this fan off. Well, I'm going to do a bio break in just a minute. We'll hit the fan then. There are places around here this kind of looks like. That's the trouble with US suburban areas. They look a lot like each other. Okay, this looks like more in the general direction of someplace. Donate plasma. Omaha Public Library. 44th Street and Center. And 43rd Street. Somewhere around here. 4989. Okay. Работа. Помощь. That's all in Russian, so... A cab. That's not in Russian. That's the universal language. The universal language of 1312. So we are somewhere the fuck in Russia. That is helpful to know on the one hand, but it doesn't get us very far because Russia is huge. Damn, I was hoping this would have a sign on it and it would be some kind of public building that would tell us where we are. Metalovaza. Okay. That's... You can... No matter where they drop you in Russia, you end up with scrap metal and tire places nearby. Один для всего. Все материалы, все условия. Все склеивает. Все герметизирует. Момент. Клиент все. Местонахождение. Ничего. Прием лома. Come on. Okay, we're getting to someplace a bit more urbanized. Well, we were, and now, like, all this shit's disappeared on us. Настройте свою выгоду. Интерактивное ТВ. Мобильная связь. Онлайн-кинотеатр. Домашний интернет. Синяя ванная под низким ценам. $24-hour grocers. Big ass tower blocks. Lukoil. Банкетный зал. A banquet hall. Propane. It is a testament to the recognizability of King of the Hill that I never watched that show, but anytime I see propane, I feel compelled to make a reference to it. I've probably seen more of the memes than I ever saw of the show. The memes tend to be pretty good, so... Do you even need the show at that point? We have the memes. Okay, that is a Swedish company that... Oh, interesting. Вертолетный завод. Вертолетный завод. That's Russian. Vertolet Zavode, helicopter plant. That is Turkic. Vertolet Zavode. We're in Russia, but we're in a Turkic-speaking place in Russia. Tatarstan, maybe? Kazan. Okay, time for a little bio break. I will be back in just a few minutes. Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games. This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco. Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyperpolyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Come on. Yen. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bakbaz. Bakbaz? Okay, Bakbaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or what? And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, but sounds vaguely like Hogun and the Hok in Hogun in Korean or Waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, c'est son chassé, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. 3 tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en 3 tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That also means. How are the boys? Cocine da boya. Poso milao. Pote. Buenas, proteine. Protoculo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously.
Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find... And I'm back. And just for anyone who's just joining, I'm raising funds for a translation project, a relatively small one. I'm going to drop the GoFundMe link into chat. Donate, share. It's for the good cause of translating some valuable legal advice for people dealing with La Migra. I'm trying to raise $300 and I've got 20 of it so far. And let's do one more round of the GeoGuessr once I get the right window up. Okay. Hard to say so far. Could be a lot of places. Okay, that rules out the US and Canada. What sort of creature is that? Oh, that's a horse. Second, it looked kind of like an alpaca. It's just sort of the angle, I guess. Lange Dweerstraat. Okay. That begins to look very Netherlandsy. But it could still be Belgium. I haven't seen anything that tells me for sure it's not. Dakwerken, Hellende en Platte. Belgium, yes, we are indeed in Belgium. I was gonna say those number plates look to be white. So we're in Flanders someplace. Algemene Dakwerken. Geordie and Wesley? Like, okay, do they make Star Trek The Next Generation references all the time, I wonder? Two roofers called Geordie and Wesley. I mean, Geordie is not spelled Geordi. Still, it's Geordie. Some sort of civil service building would be handy. Something that actually says what town this is. That's no use. Red onze boeren, save our farmers. Stekenen van nature actief. Dienstcentrum Koningshaai. Oh, that's like the second time we've had a place that was almost right on the that was right on the Belgian border. Like the other one was just on the French side of the French border with Belgium. Now we have just on the Belgian side of the Belgian border with the Netherlands. 4907. Not beating any records today, it doesn't look like, but still respectable score. Okay, is that Zispichen? Zispichen. That there's so many different potential readings of that place name. I'm not sure what to do with it. Maneje con precaución. Okay, that helps. Wherever this is, they speak Spanish. Paso Ganadero. And it's very rural. Castori. Servicio a todo el territorio nacional. Okay. So, that's helpful. The fact that it goes to all of the national territory. Because that suggests that it does not go outside of the national territory. And this flag on there and the TLD are both Mexican. So, si speaking. Ni idea cómo se pronuncia esa wea. But we're on some sort of a major motorway in Mexico. Okay, so where in Mexico? I mean, a very green part of Mexico, so not northern Mexico. I mean, this could be around Chiapas, Oaxaca, that area, maybe. Oh. A 1 kilometro. I mean, it's hard to say, and we're not getting a route number so far. This feels like this must be a big national route. Piv Kusev? Yeah, I mean, this is definitely feeling like closer to Guatemala than to Texas. Garcia. Opelchen. Ganya. La presumida. Tikul. Yeah, I feel like it must be around here someplace, just from the place names alone. Siswichen. 180D. Partiendo desde Valladolid. $49.92. Okay, I don't think we're in the US or Canada. Not sure where we are yet, though. Kfar Kish. Ah, El Cayenne. Oh, hang on. Was there possibly a route number on there? No, no route number. Mountainous, hilly. Let's see, what does that tell us? Afula. Okay, 7226 Gazit. What was it? 7276. North south. feel like it's probably northern more than anything. No. 672. Afula. There we go. Kvarkish. There we go. $49.94. Okay, not bad. Not sure about this place. Very green, very nice. Road markings, the hills and stuff. There are a few places I can think of this being. Projekt cofinanțat de Uniunea Europeană din Fondul European de Dezvoltare Regională prin programa operațional Infrastructura Mare. Okay, we are in Romania. Pod suspendat peste Dunăre în zona Braila. Okay, so we're in Romania. In a part of Romania I've not actually heard. Braila, there we are. Now I have to go back, and because there was another place name that was apparently not far from it. Peste Dunăre. Ah, yeah, peste. Okay, so Dunăre, as in the river. $49.63. I figured if it's going to be a suspension bridge, then it's probably one of the wider parts of the Danube. And 5 of 5, and we're in the woods. Infrastructure looks less than in perfect condition. Chaussée déformée. Ouais, c'est vrai. C'est bien. C'est déformé cette chose-ci. We're in France. Someplace in the woods in France. Okay, this looks like a better bet somehow. Feel like this is more likely to get me to a main road. Tell me something about where I am. Okay. There's definitely more going on here, but it is still looking very rural. And rural France is difficult, because the route numbers don't really make a lot of sense. The farm of the 20 loaves. That doesn't seem a whole lot of output for a farm. Okay. Definitely moving to a more central road. Hey, Hexen Definitive, no blighty places. We had what looked like it was going to be a blighty place, and it turned out to be a Belgium place. We've had Romania. We had the occupied Galilee. Now we're in France. C'est le passage. Unimédoc. Ah, les vignerons d'Unimédoc à Gaillon-Médoc chez Abaric exceptionnel. Okay, that helps. We're going to be somewhere around here, I think. Gaillac? C'était Gaillac, non? Gaillon. Tabarnak. Tabarnon. Ah, hell, I was not too far off, but much more coastal than I would have guessed. Okay, so how'd I do? 24-128. I mean, not record-breaking, but a pretty good score. Certainly better than the last one. My personal record is actually a pretty hard one to break because it was 8 points short of a perfect score. So now we're gonna change gears and look at some vid. Let's see what we've got. Oh, we've got English for everyone. Everyone's favorite. I think we're gonna level up your English by learning to avoid. Stop learning garbage. I have a PhD. Listen to me. Wow, they're really having a go at this. I believe her name is Evelyn.
Yeah, I have the hiccups.
Okay, they've upped their production values. Respect. I mean,
you need to drink some water. That'll help get rid of the hiccups.
Oh, that's a great idea.
okay.
Here, drink some water from the sink.
Wait, are they still... Oh god, they're still on this. Evelyn, I believe her name is, was pointing out that you don't actually see that potable water, while a technically correct term, is not hugely in common use in many places in the US, which is true. And so since then, they are obsessed with pointing out anytime they find the word potable water on a sign. That's what this is. That's what this is about. Fucking hell. That is so petty. That was like a year ago, too. Months, anyway. I don't even remember. It's been a long time.
Wait. Don't drink it. What's wrong? Look at the sign.
Non-potable water.
They're still doing it. I can't believe this.
What does it mean?
Non-potable water? What does it mean?
I don't know. Can I drink the water?
No, you cannot.
Why not?
Because it's non-potable.
Fucking hell.
That means not drinkable. It's
Like,
important to know what potable means.
like, nobody says it isn't important to know what potable means. All she said is it isn't a term that is in common conversational usage, and they have yet to find a counterexample. It's always signs or a technical video. They're still fucking doing this. Get a new beef. Fuck, beef with me. I could use the views.
You might drink water that's not good. You might get sick.
Yeah, I shouldn't drink it.
No, you're not supposed to drink non-potable water. That's a good word to know.
Fuck off! This is so fucking petty. Because she did not actually... What you have to understand, if you were not here for the first chapter of this saga, is, she didn't say you shouldn't know what it means. She just said it wasn't in very common conversational use, and that people in regular conversations would not necessarily call it potable water, which, in my experience, is true. It is a technical sort of term that you would find on a sign, but people would be more likely to say the water isn't good to drink.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Is it good to drink? Yes, it is potable. Potable. Good word.
The speaker is teaching the word potable.
I can't believe this.
Potable is not a common word.
See, she didn't say it's not a useful word to have. She said it's not a common word. Thank you. This is my point. And they are still on about this shit. This video is from a month ago. I don't remember exactly when we last looked at their fucking potable beef, but it was way more than a month ago. It was like, I think it was probably still winter. And they're still on this bullshit.
It's rarely used, and I actually had to look it up myself after I watched this reel.
I have no idea why she didn't know the meaning of the word and why she had to.
Oh, well, she explained it. It's because it's a word that actually, in North American common conversation, it doesn't come up much. That's why she said, I mean, go back and watch the thing she just said. She explained it to you.
Look it up.
Yes. It's gotta be the least celebratory one yet. Now let me get the chat wikis widget so that I can actually see it. God, like, still, this is amazing. The pettiness. Did they, like, run out of content? Did they run out of extremely nitpicky videos with, like, deadpan voices? Or was this such a classic bit that they decided they had to up the production values on it? Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is it's a technical term. You would find it on a sign. If you were talking about drinking water issues, you'd hear people say potable water. But, like, if I'm about to, like, take a drink of something and that I shouldn't, then people aren't gonna be, hey, that's not potable. They'll say, don't drink that, it'll fucking make you sick or something.
It is common, and you will see it on signs.
It's extremely, I agree, it's extremely important, but knowing which term, knowing what, like, a common conversational word is and what is more of a technical term. Also, and notice that, see, on signs.
And you will see it on signs.
Notice here that multiple of these signs have to feel the designers decided that that they should explain what it means. Danger, non-potable water, do not use for drinking or washing. Potable water, for drinking. Non-potable water, do not drink. Like, only one of these signs trusts the reader to know what the word means. And that was, like, her entire point, and they're still on this.
Potable water is drinkable water. It is safe to drink. And you might see a sign that says non-potable water. And if you don't know the meaning of the word, you might be in trouble.
Like, okay, even if we accept their point, which, I mean, is a total they're, like, not responding at all to what she said, which is, it's just not a common thing. And she wasn't calling them out with it. She was, like, looking at some, like, non-native English content, where they were, like, using potable like it's a normal conversational word that everybody just uses. Hey, this is so potable, or something like that. Like, they're not in any way contradicting the point she was making. Both can be true. Their skit, that's the wild thing. Their skit was literally about a sign. There was a sign. That's how I knew why they were back on this. Because there was a sign over the sink saying non-potable. And, I'm guessing, because I've never seen that sink in any of their videos, that they were, like, staying at a hotel or someplace. And they saw the sign and it said non-potable. And they're like, oh shit, this is content. We gotta do a callback to the classic potable beef.
Because if you drink the water, you might get sick. Or you might even die. And you don't want that to happen. Non-potable water...
well, thank you for explaining what we don't want to happen. And notice, here's another one. This sign does not trust the reader to know what potable means. Not to be used for drinking, washing, or cooking use. Like, if this was a term that you would expect everybody to, like, They don't, like, take slippery when wet. You see that sign, they don't explain slippery. Why? Because they trust that the anyone who is literate enough to read the sign knows what it means. But all but one of the signs that they've used to illustrate their point here have been designed almost certainly because there are standards around warning signs. Like which words you can use that you can trust that a person of average literacy will understand or not. And almost certainly, I bet there is some sort of an ISO standard, I don't feel like looking it up, that says if this is a public-facing sign, you should probably clarify what that means. At the very least, it's very common for these signs to clarify what that means.
It's not safe. It's not drinkable. You shouldn't drink it because you might get sick.
Is that because it's not drinkable?
And now let's see how native speakers use this word.
I can't emphasize enough. They literally already did this, and now they have gone, and they have searched out more potable clips. They searched out more clips of somebody saying potable.
And every year, 3.5 million people die because of non-potable water.
Yeah, I mean, I think they may have actually reused this because I remember when I was talking about this months ago, responding to the first installment of this epic story. I pointed out that one of the main contexts you will hear it used orally in English is when talking in like sort of NGO-y sorts of discussions about access to safe drinking water.
Related diseases.
Now, while in India, my parents always...
This was in my recommendations. And, I mean, the first time how I found English for Everyone, I found some video, it showed in my recs, that was a criticism, it was by some guy like English Dave or something. And it was like, how criticism could sometimes be toxic, and it was a critique of English for Everyone. And I saw, like, and we watched it on stream. This might have been, like, this is probably, like, last year, maybe even before. I have to go back. But, you know, I looked at it and it's like, wow, these people are so cringe that it's content. And so I started watching that. But I can't believe they're still on this.
To only drink boiled or bottled water.
Yeah, okay. I mean, second source, TED Talk about access to safe drinking water. Like, they are establishing, as I pointed out, that in oral use it's more of a technical term.
Because unlike here in America, where I can just turn on a tap and easily get clean, potable water.
Well, I mean, unless you're living in Flint or Attawapiskat. Okay, the Department of Health and Human Services.
Well, there we just look at 2 potential potable water sources for Legionella.
This potable water sources for Legionella. It's what we all talk about. I mean, you got your Legionella and your potable water sources. Very colloquial usage.
This would be non-potable water in this tank. This would be the boiler water.
This guy's explaining how the plumbing at some sort of an industrial lab plant thing works. And here we have a government official, probably on the water board. I mean, kind of looks like Jerry Adams.
It will use 90% less potable water.
Instead of finding food, focus on finding potable water.
A how-to survival video that included a still of Gandhi?
Hydration will set in faster compared to hunger, and this will greatly affect your chances of survival out in the wild.
But on the other side of it, perhaps material science can help me to create...
Like, I think a lot of these are the exact same videos they used the last time they did this. And this, again, this is videos from a month ago. This is a relatively new video. This is not the one, this is not the first one.
A water bottle that very, very quickly filters what would otherwise be non-potable water to make it potable.
Technical discussion about a useful piece of equipment. Like,
Right.
I mean, and if you remember, I mean, we've seen what they will do in terms of finding like usage examples, and I have to say, one thing I actually think is kind of cool is the way they will do usage examples. Though I think they like their selection is weird in the sense that they will feel the need to hammer home an example that isn't particularly controversial or something like that. But like usually it'll be movies or something like that, or a talk show or something, and this has been technical discussion, government announcement, technical discussion, TED Talk.
Those are the kinds of technologies or tools that I'm also interested in.
Today you're going to learn some important expressions. Let's get started.
First expression, cringe.
First, this is not correct.
Here are some informal ways to say someone's not very smart.
Wait. She put Joe Biden in the bottom right corner there?
He's off his rocker.
When you say he's off his rocker,
I mean, that's a bit fucked up there. Yeah. But I mean, but again, it's like not the it's not the conversational term. Like the entire discussion was around, the whole argument was she had said it's not a conversational term, and all their stuff, and they decided to just do this much content on her once saying that's not really the most conversational way to say about it. And I mean, one thing it's worth noting is that potable in Spanish is way more commonly used than potable in English. I mean, not least because it's more complicated. The water situation is more complicated because in some places the tap water has the consistency of fucking light olive oil.
it doesn't mean that he's not smart. It means he's crazy. It has nothing to do with how smart he is. He's crazy. He's off his rocker.
Wait a second. Wait a second now. Because I remember this also being in there, but this is from a month ago. Did they like re-up this or something? Yeah. They just redid this. Okay. I do not understand why they did this. So I think we're going to move on. Because I feel like I actually already reacted to this video and for some reason they've put it back up because this is... I definitely remember this. So, there was a video that somebody asked me to react to in comments, and we started to look at it last week, but there wasn't a whole lot of time. So we're going to go back to that. To add the skit,
Now,
you may be right.
You're forced down the route of basically analyzing sounds and
Okay,
linking...
see, this is Evildea, and he was explaining how he doesn't understand much about language acquisition or early child development, and has not bothered to look it up between the last time. He said basically the exact same things.
Those sounds to visual and physical cues within the world. But as a human adult, it is damn near impossible to put yourself in a state of nirvana where you do not automatically associate these things with other things, okay?
Yeah, I mean, see, he's talking about people referring to learning languages like a baby or something like that. But the thing is, I mean, and it's true, like, first of all, yeah, the situation isn't comparable, but but the differences favor the older learner. I pointed this out when we were starting to look at this last time. Because when you are older and learning, you have context. You have actual context you can work with. You know what things are. You know what things do. And so you are mostly learning how to talk about things that you already know about. And that is a much easier proposition than having to work out what the hell a thing is and, what the name of it is at the same time. He just always does. He always wears a fucking hoodie with, like, Elmo looking vaguely sinisterly off over his shoulder.
It's just humans have pattern analysis, and once you reach an adult stage,
like, pattern analysis is why this stuff works.
Relying on this without having any impact from your native language is almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, but impact from your native language can take all sorts of different forms. And the thing is, if you're working on acquiring a language that has a lot of similarity to a language you already speak, then there's going to be influence. But of course that isn't always true. Like, there are lots of languages where that wouldn't be the case. Like, say Georgian, for example, if you're an English speaker. Most of that is going to be totally new to you.
In fact, I saw another video of someone doing Dreaming Spanish after, I think it was like 2,500 hours. And someone in the comment section, because he was talking in Spanish, he seemed really good, by the way, but someone in the comment section was a native, and they said, "Your Spanish sounds really good, but you seem to be making English sentences." So basically, even though he had absorbed this language for 2,500 hours, still, somewhere in the back of his brain, his English was like...
Yeah, but that isn't like a permanent thing. That's something that actually can be developed. In fact, I mean, that is a very common thing for learners in sort of the earlier stages, is that they will sometimes rely on their native language to give them constructions that they haven't acquired yet in the target language. I mean, and there are strategies to overcome it. One of them actually being, the key one tends to be a lot of reading, pleasure reading and stuff like that. So, I mean, that, what he's describing is not actually in any way a criticism of the method. It is a description of a stage that people often reach in language acquisition.
The structures that he had learned from that language had impacted on it, okay?
That's the goal. Now, personally, I was really skeptical of this approach when I first heard about it, because I've learned Japanese for I don't know how many years. I started in like 2018. So I've always been into learning grammar. Grammar is fascinating to me. But when I first heard this method, I was
I'm also a grammar nerd, I should note.
Like, that cannot be possible. How can you learn something without learning the grammar, right? So I was skeptical, but also intrigued. So
I mean, and the answer is that you acquire grammar through exposure, especially through reading. The thing about grammar is, and I mention this when this comes up a fair bit, so you probably, at least some people will have heard me say this already. There is way more grammar to a language than is in any grammar book. Linguists spend their entire careers trying to work out all of the rules that people aren't aware of in a language. You literally cannot acquire the grammar of a language based on the information that you can get in a grammar book, because that is just very much the surface level of it.
Tried it out, and I'm still trying it out right now. I'm doing ALG as well. I'm at 150 hours. I'll make a video about that too.
Okay, so I'm 50 hours ahead of you, my boy. Let's race.
But it makes total sense to me. So let me explain. In my opinion, you are not learning a language, or you shouldn't learn a language to be able to say X thing.
I'll stop you right there. One thing
and we watched, we skimmed his video that this is a reaction to last week as well. What he's talking about is there is sometimes a tendency for people to want to learn a language just to be, where there are like certain specific things they're trying to say. And the trouble with that is, maybe you can say them, but that doesn't mean you can understand the interaction that they initiate. Like, you could learn how to say, ¿Dónde está el baño? But that doesn't mean when the person starts telling you, answering your question, that you will understand it. And if all you've done is learned a bunch of phrases, memorized a bunch of phrases that are useful, they're not going to be very useful because you have to actually understand what comes back at you. Cartoons and ditties, like the rapper?
Not like, is when people say you should do a language for this or that reason, or you shouldn't do it for this and that reason. Because if I step back and I look at all the people I've tutored over the years when I was working as an English teacher, the reason...
English teachers in English-speaking environments are often the hardest, are often the worst in a lot of ways, because they lack the learner's perspective, and it is the easiest language to acquire in most places, because finding English comprehensible input is not difficult. It is not even something you really have to seek out. And so the empirically unvalidated methods that are often used in like English tutoring and English courses and stuff like that appear to be getting way better results than they actually warrant, because people are bombarded with comprehensible input from all ends.
Reasons why people were learning English was so goddamn variant. Like, they were just so different.
That's not his point. He's not talking about your motivation. He's talking about a very specific problem, namely just trying to get certain phrases, because it isn't just a phrase, there's an interaction, and you have to be able to comprehend the interaction, or you might as well not have the phrase.
It kind of blew my mind, okay? Because I always just assumed it was, for X reason. But pretty much everyone came in for a completely different reason. So if someone says you shouldn't be doing it for this, you're basically negating someone over here.
No. He's like totally missing the point here.
Like, oh, you can say this, I will do this method because I can say that faster if I do it like using this method. So basically what you're saying is, I'm learning this language so I can say that, so I can have this result of, saying something faster. So that.
Well, the vast majority of people do want to speak.
That's not his point either. Maybe keep listening.
If we're being honest, okay.
Yeah, like literally, that's not his point.
Now, there is a small subset of people who are just happy to consume content and not actually use the language. But if you look at the...
That is a form of using the language, though. Reading and understanding the language is using it.
Grand scale of, the grand scheme of things.
Even if I were not reacting to this video, if I'm just watching him, I am using English.
Most people want to be able to utilize the language that they've learned.
That's why I'm using this method. But you're not learning the language to be able to say something. That's not a valid goal.
Why is that not a valid goal?
Because the interaction...
I'm assuming you're going to explain.
Speaking as a goal doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Speaking should not be a goal. You should not say, I am learning this language because I want to say this in the language, or I want to say X. That doesn't work. Let me explain why. If that was the goal, then what you could simply do is remember whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Say I wanted to say, I really like doing X. Then I could just go online, translate that from Dutch, my native language, to, let's say, Japanese, remember that, and then, hey, I can say this phrase.
Well,
okay. Never heard them called that before.
Obvious counter to that would be, yes, you can do that, but there comes a point where memorizing bespoke lines becomes less efficient.
That's his whole fucking point, though.
Compared to actually learning the structure of the language and learning how to put these components together. So if
Wow, I mean, it's like he really does not understand what he's watching.
I was just to go to, let's say, India, yeah, I would probably just learn the most basic lines that I need. Hello, where's the bathroom?
Yeah, but, okay, so you ask where's the bathroom in Hindi, or Telugu, or Tamil, or Marathi, or whatever. But the problem is, you have to... that's useless if you don't understand what they're saying. It doesn't... Like, if you say, bathroom kahe, and they say... and they give you a whole explanation of how to get there, and you don't understand it, you might as well have just asked it in English.
I have a booking under this name, as opposed to learning the entire language for a simple trip. But let's say I was going to move India and I'd lived there for 10 years.
Yeah, but I mean, again, the point is, like, okay, so you say you have a booking under this name, and let's say you say it really, really well, and so the person assumes that you are a native speaker or a near native speaker. Well, what if they're telling you things you need to know, and they're telling you them in your target language, and all you know, you just knew that phrase? You're kind of fucked now, actually, potentially. Like, maybe they were telling you something important and you can't understand it.
Well, then, yeah, I'm going to need the language immediately, like in my day-to-day life, so I cannot just, sit back, relax, and consume the language. Instead, I'm going to learn the most common phrases I need, and then as I start learning all these most common phrases, I'm going to start chunking these pieces together and going, okay, well, I know this over here, now.
Yeah, and this is literally not how any of that works.
Shove this together. And it's like building a Lego house, okay? Start with the foundations, you start building it up. As opposed to watching someone build the whole house, observing how they do it, and then trying it myself.
Right, so...
God, I mean, it's like, he talks so much shit about language acquisition. Like, this is one of his main subjects on his channel, and yet there is just so... and it's just really amazing how little he has actually effort he has dedicated to understanding anything about it. I don't get it. What, you're gonna make this your topic and you don't want to know about it? Like, why? What's the point of that? Like, I mean, PragerU already exists. They've cornered the market of talking about shit you don't know anything about.
So I could just remember, but that's not how language works. If language worked like that, then right now I would have to remember every single word that I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I do have.
I mean, what he's saying, if you understand anything about how language acquisition works, this makes perfect sense, because you are not consciously putting, sentence building blocks together and stuff.
But you get the idea.
Okay, well now you're talking about the automation of basically language. So as you
he's talking about language acquisition and how most of the process is unconscious.
You learn something as opposed to like the processes of acquisition that happen within Dreaming Spanish. What happens is first you load it into memory, okay? And then as with any skill set, you then need to repeat it until it becomes automated.
Except that's not how that works with language. It literally is not. He is literally describing the sort of methods that result in people doing 4 years of Spanish in high school, 4 years at uni, getting good grades and still not being able to have a conversation.
It's like a person at a piano. They don't just start tapping away after listening.
Piano isn't language. You're not acquiring language with piano. That is an entirely different thing.
Thousands of hours of the piano and just create beautiful music, they need to exercise their fingers. And a great example would be programming, okay?
Also, it is saying everything that all of his examples are based on the premise that language acquisition is just like any other thing, and that is the fundamental problem. He doesn't understand that it is not. It literally is not.
To learn C++. Okay, that's a super generic goal. So what do? Well, I'll just start learning the entire language. But if I need this for a job, would not it be better to focus in on what I need specifically?
Yeah, but the thing about C++ is it's not an interaction. In fact, the interaction that you're going to have is with your compiler. And your compiler is going to write to you in your native language. They're not going to write, exception thrown at, curly bracket expected in C++. They're going to write that to you in English or whatever the language, your user interface language of your text editor is. This is not a comparable thing. You don't talk to people in C++. C++, literally, it is not an interactive thing in that way. Because it is code that is used to get a compiler to compile a program that causes certain processes to occur within a computer. Like, the use case is totally different.
Let's say C++ for game programming. Well, now I've shortened it down to a very, very small, or I've collapsed it down to a very, very small subset. Okay, what type of game programming? What do I want to make? I want to make online shooters. Okay, now we can collapse it down even further. Now
This is not, like... Does he know... And does he... Has he ever used a language?
focus on that. When I get good at that, I can start stepping out in parallel.
I have something to say, a meaning, like a message with a meaning. I think of that and I just know how to say it. I know how to say it because, well, that's just how language works.
Yeah.
I think of it and the speech just it comes out, you know? So like I said, the problem is when people are starting to learn it.
Well, the whole thing about, you say something, okay, we're talking about the ALG method here. You reach a certain amount of time.
Well, no, he's not talking about the ALG method here. He's talking about how language acquisition works in general. Methods are attempts to stimulate and facilitate that process, but the process is the process. What he's talking about is just language acquisition. The process by which you achieve the ability to make this video. I mean, the ability to recite the things that he's saying in this video and understand them, and be maddened by them if you know anything about like how language acquisition works.
You can just think about something. Well, you don't even think about it; it just kind of comes out. I don't know if that's true or not.
You don't? I could have sworn that the entire format of this video is that he says stuff that he doesn't think about, and it just comes out. Like, how do you not... What do you mean you don't know about that? You're talking right now. Did you sit there saying, okay, we're forming a relative clause here. We gotta make sure we got the verb-subject agreement. Go check that out. Okay, we've got this sentence almost together. Wait, do we need indefinite or definite articles? You don't do that. You know, like, this is not... what's to think about? That is, like, literally not how anyone speaks in their native language. I mean, hey, Atta, how you doing? We're getting frustrated watching Evildea not know anything about the thing that he likes to talk about.
I have not tested this theory. I'm 200 hours in. I've got a couple of random phrases that...
You test this... You don't... I mean, you're testing this theory right now. Like, you're talking. Did you have to think in detail about how you construct those sentences? If you didn't, then you have your answer.
Come out kind of naturally. I assume after 2,000 hours I will get that effect. But then again, it's like, that's just a lot of time to reach that state when I could take shortcuts to get it.
Yeah, the thing is, the shortcuts don't actually get you the result. The shortcuts don't actually do the thing, is the thing.
The language, and they say, hey, I want to know how to say this, they're going to remember how to say it. They're going to look it up, right? And the whole point of this natural learning ALG is to not look things up. You just expose yourself to the language, and your brain will make these connections. It will make a big like language model with neural connections, and then based off of those connections and this model, you will be able to say whatever you want to say. If you look some...
Okay, I'm going to give a parallel for another field. I think...
Oh god, he's going to give a parallel for another field. Let's see if he comes up with a field that is comparable. I mean, he hasn't yet. In fact, the fields that he's used so far make me wonder if he understands what talking is. Like, he does so much of it. You would think he understood, like, that there's a difference between talking to people and programming in C++, but...
Big issue is that a lot of people look at language as if it's some type of special skill set.
It is, though! Like, you see, the people you're talking about, they're called researchers. They're called scientists. There are entire disciplines, there's more than one, based on the fact that, yeah, it is different.
Realistically, it's not. There is nothing special about language learning. Okay, as much as we all want to feel special out there, it is not.
So you got it from Evildea right here. Like, the entire field of linguistics, bollocks. The entire field of language acquisition research, bollocks. Just listen to the guy with fucking Elmo there. He knows what he's talking about because he hasn't read anything about this. Something that he's strangely proud of.
So here's a parallel. Again,
I liked this guy a lot better when I had seen a lot less of him.
Programming. I could sit here.
I had so much more respect for him when I had not actually heard him try to express a thought on how language acquisition works. When he was just, like, clowning on that guy who at one point claimed to speak 4,000 languages or whatever the fuck it was. Those were better times. Like, the more I listen to him actually have opinions on this stuff, the more I realize he knows nothing about any of it and he does not care. And he gets fucking views for, like, not knowing anything about it and not caring that he doesn't know anything about it.
And spend 2,000 hours watching videos on people teaching me how to write an operating system, okay?
Yeah, this is not... Okay, again... Writing an operating system is not the same thing as acquiring language. Like, I mean, this should not require any particular technical knowledge to work out. Because you've used language all the time. He's using it right now. Would you say that that's the same thing as writing an operating system? Like, when you write an operating system, I assume he's done this. Or has at least, like, learned how to do it. But, like, the operating system, it doesn't interact with you that way. It interacts in fairly predictable ways unless you fuck it up.
And after 2,000 hours, I assume I could probably sit down first time and... Well, maybe not first time, but, like, I would be able to punch out most of an operating system after 2,000 hours. However, I required 2,000 hours to get to that point where I can kind of just, like, punch it out as I go, but I'm still going to make mistakes, just as with any language, okay?
That's not a language. Like, writing an operating system is not a language.
However, there is another way of doing this. I could watch a guy who walks me through the basics, and then I try it out myself. I make mistakes in the moment.
God, I mean, it's like... It is really impressive. I mean, he clearly, this is something he likes to talk about. I mean, and now I'm beginning to wonder, like, does he give a shit about it? Like, he does, or does he just, like, clowning on, like, people whose language knowledge he finds questionable and in some cases is right about? And he doesn't really actually know or care or give a shit about the actual subject of language, which would explain why he doesn't know anything about it and makes no effort to improve on that.
And then I go, okay, via doing mistakes, I now learn. And then I go back, I'll watch him again.
Whoa, I see, I mean, and again, watching his watching his fucking videos, I have to doubt that. Because I see him making mistakes, I see no learning. Because he's saying the exact same nonsense about language acquisition that I've seen him say previously. Like, he clearly does not understand any of this, and he has made no effort to actually acquire an understanding of it.
And I try again. And this process of going back, watching, and then applying, watching and applying, builds muscle memory early on, and it reinforces what I'm hearing. Because there's two parts to this, okay? Basically, ALG holds your hand behind your back in one part.
No, it doesn't. Like...
The first part is you got the listening and then you got the speaking. Now, when you speak, you basically reinforce what you've heard before. And
no, not really. And, I mean, you also have a silent period, and there's also writing. There's also the reading and the writing that you've left out for some reason.
when you listen to stuff, you can pick up those specific sounds and things like that. Well, then that helps you in speaking. So it's like it's a balancing act. And it's...
How is that a balancing act? Like, they're not contradicting each other. Like, it would be a balancing act if one detracted from the other, but on the other hand, this is, like, one aids in the other. In fact, they both are mutually reinforcing. I mean, though maybe he's going off of a sample of himself, because I can see the balancing act when I think about watching him, because the more I listen to him, the more he speaks, and the more I listen to him, I got that wrong. The more he speaks, the less I want to listen to him.
Certain points,
that's the problem. That is the balancing act.
Other, and it's up to the person who's learning to make the decision around when that happens. But the problem I see at the moment with ALG is that they've made the decision for you. They've gone, nope, you're just going to wait until you're ready.
Like, and I will say, I'm not familiar with ALG. I don't know if it is a method I would endorse, but it seems to be, at the very least, based on empirically validated principles of the importance of input and for acquisition and stuff like that. Like, so, but the thing is, it's not that, it's not that the method is holding you back. It's that your brain has to actually reach a certain stage and then it becomes ready for things. This is a process. You can't speed run the process, really.
And at whatever point that may be, that will be the point when you start speaking. Now, most people cannot wait. However, if you are one...
Oh, well, yeah, but the thing is they have to. And that is why there is a silent period. There's a reason that happens. In all languages, in your first language too, there was a period when all you were doing with your first language was hearing it and beginning to understand it. Oh yeah, what kind of snacks? I love hearing about snacks. I've never had the tamarind one. I love the fruit punch carrito. The strawberry carrito is really good. I got some really awful, like, over sour lemonade, and pro tip, if you have over sour lemonade and you have strawberry carrito, mix the two and it is delicious.
Who has no urgency to get to a speaking state, then fine. It's a perfect method for you. Or if you don't...
The point is, like, it's always going to take time. Like, not everything can just be speedrun. There are developmental processes that go on.
Like studying grammar or using any of the other methods out there. There's more than one method to learn a language. There's hundreds of them, okay?
Yeah, and most of them suck.
Then, if it's the last one at your disposal and you've tried everything else, sure, why not? I'm not going to stop you.
Well, I mean... It's like, I mean, he speaks so confidently about this stuff, too. He speaks so fucking confidently about this. Like, he's somebody who you should listen to on this, and yet he really just does not know what the hell he's talking about.
Something up, actively.
I've only ever had tamarind as part of things. What does tamarind taste like, anyway? Like, I've had, like, tamarind in, like, sauces and things, but I could not identify the single note of tamarind. Oh, I just noticed the time. It is time for me to wrap up and start having dinner thoughts. Thank you to everyone who joined in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you would like to donate to this translation project to get legal advice on how to deal with migra, translated and subtitled by me, I'm trying to raise $300 for it. I've got 20 so far. Please share widely and donate if you can. And if you can't, I totally understand, because everybody's fucked at the moment, myself included. But if you can and you want to, I certainly appreciate it. It's for a good cause. Have a good evening, and I will be back tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and I look forward to seeing you.